What's good, my peoples? Y'all already know what it is, man. It's your boy JSmiff in the flesh, Box Center. Your favorite boxers, favorite boxing show. Anyways, my peoples, what are we talking about, man, with the Canelo Alvarez and Bud Crawford situation? Well, apparently, Canelo contacted His Excellency Turkey Al Sheikh and expressed interest in revisiting negotiations. Now, I don't think it was made clear whether he was willing to fight Benavidez or Bud. However, we know that David Benavidez already stated that he was not going back down to 168. He will stay at 175. And that leads me to believe that the option may be Terence Crawford. So, based on a recording that I actually heard from Canelo on Blue Blood Sports TV, shout out to Blue Blood, Canelo basically expressed interest and he contacted His Excellency Turkey Al Sheikh. He's the one that reached out. So let's see. I don't think it's gonna be Benavidez for the reason I said. The division. I'm personally hoping that it is Terence Crawford. I've wanted to see that fight. I've made that obvious, and that's when I move into the people that say things like this: weight classes for a reason, and Canelo's too big. Listen, my peoples. The first thing that I want to point out is that Canelo Alvarez is a very small 168 pounder. That's a fact. Look at all of his opponents, they're all bigger than him. He's not a big guy, yo. What are we talking about here? That's why Bivol pummeled him and ate his punches like they was, I don't know, nachos with chips. Well, nachos are chips. But I digress. So, Canelo Alvarez is not a big guy, my peoples. Not only that, if you put Terence Crawford side by side with him, yo, the size difference, like, what are we talking about here? Number one, Bud is a little bit taller than him, has longer reach than him, and Crawford walk around close to the same weight as Canelo fight. If I'm not mistaken, he walk around in the 160s. So all I'm saying is that you have to take into consideration Crawford is really not much smaller than Canelo the way people paint it. He's not, my peoples. Real talk. If you look at them side by side, at some points, Crawford might even look bigger than Canelo. So that narrative that, Crawford is too small and Canelo's too big and 168. Nah, my people, it's not really like that. Terence Bud Crawford is almost the size of Canelo if you look at them. Like, if they're, in their walk-around weight, Canelo don't look much bigger than Bud. So people paint it out like Crawford is a lightweight and Canelo's a heavyweight, and it's, oh my God, this huge difference. Yo, listen, my peoples. Canelo is not a big guy. Canelo started his career at 154, and at 168, every time he fights somebody, he's the smaller guy in the ring. Tell me I'm wrong. What's up, Dinging? What's good from Indonesia? What's up, my brother? Yeah, appreciate you tuning in. And my peoples, y'all already know what it is, man. Look, Box Center, your favorite boxers, favorite boxing show. I promise you. If you enjoy boxing, man, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Check out my videos. I talk about amateur boxing, professional boxing, and my content is 100% original. I'm giving you the real deal Holyfield, my peoples. But as I was saying, when it comes to Bud Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, yo, that's a competitive fight. People crazy talking about, oh, Canelo is gonna wash him. Canelo is gonna make it look easy because he's too little. Nah, my people's cut. Bud Crawford and Canelo, when you see them side by side, the difference is not as much as you think. You know, that's my take on that. You know what I'm saying? I want to see that fight, and I think that His Excellency Turkey Al Sheikh is gonna make it happen. You know, I think he is gonna make it happen. Eh, Saludos, Víctor. Yo sí hablo español. Algunas veces también hago el en vivo en español, pero este en vivo es en inglés. So yeah, my peoples, I'm trying to tell you, if that fight happens, it's going to be a mega fight. Now, I'm going to show you how you know that Canelo sees Crawford as a threat. What does he want for that fight? Like $150 million. That would be a career payday. He's never made that much money. So anytime a fighter is asking for a career payday, it tells you right there they're going up against a threat. It's like, okay, if I'm going to risk losing, or if I'm going to lose, I better get the most money that I ever been paid. I'm going to get paid if I'm going to get my ass beat. It's as simple as that. Simple as that. So that's why I'm going with, against the odds. I know that Canelo is going to be the favorite if or when that fight happens. And he should be the favorite. I understand why. However, I'm going against the odds. I'm telling you that Terence Bud Crawford is going to beat Canelo Alvarez. That's my prediction. I'm sticking with it. Time will tell. Now, there's another big fight that His Excellency Turkey Al Sheikh has the power to make. Shakur Stevenson versus Tank Davis. Hey, ¿cómo está eso, bro? Shakur Stevenson versus Tank Davis is a fight that should be made. Boxing needs that fight. In all honesty, that's the biggest fight in boxing right now. If Canelo Alvarez versus Bud Crawford can't be made, Shakur Stevenson versus Tank Davis is the biggest fight in boxing. Period, point blank. There's no getting around it. Now, come on, my boy. How you gonna say Shakur is ducking? How you gonna say that? You know that's not true, man. Listen, Shakur been trying to fight everybody and anybody. Nobody wants him. Everybody ducks Shakur. It's actually the opposite. Because you know that Tank Davis can handpick his opponent. He can fight anybody he wants. He's the A side. So he can fight whoever he wants. So have you ever heard that he sent the contract to Shakur? Have you ever heard that he tried to fight Shakur? So why would you say that Shakur is ducking when you don't see people trying to fight him? You got first you got to see somebody trying to fight him and he say, no, I won't take this fight, to say that he's ducking. Tell me one time that happened, my boy. Who he fight the past 4 years? Are we talking about Shakur or Tank when you're asking who he fight the last 4 years? You are 100 though. They both scared. In all honesty, man, I don't think they both scared. I think it's just the politics of it, man. The politics. Right now, it's easy for Shakur to make the fight. Remember, he's a free agent. He could do whatever he wants, sign whatever contract he wants. That's not the case with Tank. He's with Al Heyman, with the PBC. So there's a certain process that they follow. And, if Shakur is not in the list, he's not going to get the fight. If y'all remember, they was already floating around the Tank versus Pitbull fight. But the rematch. But what happened? Pitbull got upset by Rayo Valenzuela, which, by the way, I told people Rayo had the skills to outbox him. As a matter of fact, if you go back and check out my videos, I actually said if it goes the distance, I just winning that fight. People don't realize how good that kid was. Like, I've been saying he was gonna be a champion like 4 or 5 years ago. Yo, Tanker BSer, look, man, listen. I think he a great fighter, but his resume, I think it has people bamboozled. To me, they've been fooling people with a lot of the things that they've been doing, because they call him a 3 division champion. Meanwhile, in the 140 division, he fought Mario Barrios for a secondary title when this dude, Josh Taylor, was the undisputed champion. Josh Taylor was the undisputed champion, so that fake secondary title, that wasn't even real. That secondary title in the 140 division don't even exist anymore. Nobody even hold that shit. So that's cap. That's a fake title. But it made him a 3 division champion. And he won that fake title, didn't even defend it once, didn't fight anybody else in the division, went back down to 135. That's a fake title. That's literally a Mickey Mouse belt. So they got fans like, oh my God, he's fighting. He's not, Tank hasn't been fighting the best. But I tell you what, he has the skills. He's one of the best. Tank is that guy. Don't get it twisted. I'm not hating on Tank. I'm talking about his resume. But as far as boxing IQ, power, footwork, punch placement, ring general, like, Tank has it all. So don't get it twisted. I'm not trying to hate on the guy. What was the last boxing match people wanted to see and they actually fought in their prime? Oscar De La Hoya versus Tito Trinidad. They fought in their prime. They fought at the perfect time. We didn't like the outcome. A lot of people felt Oscar got robbed. But they fought in their prime, both undefeated, both at the top of their game. I could, I gotta think about it, because I know there's a lot more fights where that actually happened. Or Floyd Mayweather versus Diego Chico Corrales. That happened at the perfect time. Both young, undefeated, hungry lions. I agree with you. He should fight more. Boxing, man, that's the problem. Remember that fighters used to fight 3 times a year regularly, some 4 and 5 times a year. And I think part of it is because guys are making now, like, a lot of these guys are making a lot of money, so they don't have to fight that many times. That's a big difference too, because I remember something that Julio Cesar Chavez said is that he fought a lot in the beginning of his career just to make money. Like, he wasn't trying to, achieve 90 something wins. And, at times he basically just fought today, and a week later they're like, yo, we got to fight. You can make a little $200-$300. Oh, okay, I'm going to take that. So it was literally just to make money. And then he just started racking up the wins and made history. Sometimes you make history without planning on it. A lot of times that has happened. So yeah, man, I agree, man. The game got soft. But then again, I think I try to put myself, in the other side. And, I think about it. If I'm making a lot of money, then maybe I want to try to not take as much punishment. And I might make the conscious decision, like, I'm going to fight twice a year. I don't want to, take. Because remember, at the end of the day, there's, like, a lot of people don't take this into consideration, but there's a cumulative damage when it comes to boxing. So the more damage you take, the more likely it is that you might have health issues after you retire. So if you're making money like that and you can afford to say, yo, I'm going to fight twice a year, fuck it, then I don't know. As a fan, you want to see twice at least or 3 times a year. But, I try to get, look at it from the other side and say, you know what, yo, You don't want to get punched in the face, punched in the head this many times a year. That's the yo. Oh, nah. Yo, Peterson Joshua. That's it, man. Now I know that you know boxing. You got my respect. That's it. Because a lot of people don't know shit about boxing, but they love debating about it. The fact that you say it's okay to lose suggests that you know boxing. That mindset is the reason why boxing used to be so great back then. Because dudes knew win, lose, or draw, your career gonna keep going and you're gonna still be. But boxing has changed. Now, the moment you lose, you're a hype job, you're a bum, you got exposed. Every time a fighter loses, that's the narrative that's painted immediately. Exactly, yo, and Ali is widely been considered the greatest. He lost, so losing does not define. And I'm gonna tell you something. You know what started that undefeated culture? Floyd Mayweather, because when Floyd Mayweather retired undefeated, and he's the richest fighter, the one that made the most money, etc. It already told other fighters, this is what I need to do. I need to stay undefeated so I could get to the level of success that Floyd has gotten. But let me give you an example. Conor McGregor has lost in MMA multiple times and is 0-1 in boxing. Yeah, he's worth over $100 million. So losing didn't affect his bag. Ryan Garcia made like $30 million versus Devin Haney after being stopped by Tank Davis. Losing didn't stop his bag, but people fall for the narrative, and a lot of fighters, they not risking it because of that. Does Usyk beat Prime Holyfield? I don't believe it. In that fight, I'm going with Evander Holyfield, to be honest. Listen, Evander Holyfield is, I can't even think of that many people in history that I got beating Evander Holyfield. It's just not that many. I got Ali beating him, that's for sure. And I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. Evander. Smoking Joe Frazier and Evander, that would have been a 50-50. That, I don't know what could happen. I think that could have gone either way. Just because of the style, both of their style. So there's maybe a few people, but Evander, the real deal Holyfield, man, listen, I can't see, I'm gonna be honest with you, I can't see nobody from this era beating a prime Evander Holyfield. I don't see it. I haven't seen that level of and I'm not gonna go into, because I don't want to disrespect nobody. We have great heavyweight fighters in this era. Don't get me twisted. So I don't want to disrespect nobody, but the real deal Holyfield, man, I watched him in his prime, and the sharpness, that type of sharpness, you just don't see it in that division like that. Evander Holyfield looked like a welterweight with the way he let his hands go. For real. Oh, yo, Holyfield's, and the thing about Evander Holyfield is that he was good with he had power in both hands. That there's a lot of fighters out there that they only hurt you with that straight right hand, or they'll only hurt you with that big left hook. But Holyfield could lay you out, fold you with either hand. What I love the most about Holyfield, though, is that he always let his hands go on the inside. He always was putting them combinations together. He always went down low and up top. Like, watching Holyfield in his prime, man, that was special. Like, I used to look forward to watching his fights. The headbutt champ. Damn, yeah, that ear off situation was unfortunate, but think about it. He actually went back to being friends with Mike Tyson. They friends again now. So, it was crazy when it happened. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. With that ear situation, it wasn't about no headbutts, man. Tyson said it was about the headbutt that he kept headbutting him. But I'm gonna tell you what really happened. And by the way, I'm a Mike Tyson fan. I am an Iron Mike Tyson fan, always been. But when it comes to Mike and Holyfield, what really happened is that in this second fight, Mike Tyson was getting bullied. Evander Holyfield was beating him up. And he realized, because remember, this was the rematch. He realized that this fight was going to play out exactly the same way. He already lost to Holyfield, and he got dropped, just got beat up, right? Now in this rematch, he's coming out of whatever game plan he had, but he was getting beat up. So I would say that Mike Tyson won it out of that fight. Because remember, right before that, he had already bit him. And Evander complained about it. And then finally he caught him again and bit the ear off. But you got to take that into consideration. That's how I see it. Mike won it out. Because, okay, he's headbutting him. Why Mike didn't headbutt him back? He could have did that. But he didn't. He did something that he knew was going to get him out the fight. That's it. I believe Mike won it out of that one. Honestly. That's my take on that. But remember what I told y'all. His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh has the power to make Shakur Stevenson versus Tank Davis. That's a fact. And I believe that after Shakur Stevenson washes William Zepeda, I believe that he's gonna unify those titles. Tank is gonna be next. Tank and Shakur Stevenson will fight. I don't know if it's gonna be. Yeah, it's gonna be next year, I guess. Probably early next year or something like that. But I believe that fight is gonna get made. I really believe it. Now, Shakur gets embarrassed by Tank. I don't know how you came up with that conclusion. Shakur has pretty much dominated every opponent he ever faced in his entire career, including Oscar Valdez, who was an undefeated champion at the time. Oscar Valdez, by the way, went on to become champion again after he lost to Shakur. So I don't know. I don't know how you came up with the conclusion that Tank is going to embarrass him. Nobody has even come close to testing him. And he beat multiple champions already. Haven't even been tested. Is proven to have the best defense in boxing, period. The most unhittable fighter. I don't know how you have that confidence that Tank is going to embarrass him. I don't see that, but that's how you see it. I'll respect your opinion, my guy. But I think if you're saying that, you may have thought that Errol Spence was going to pummel Bud Crawford. That Errol Spence was going to walk him down and beat him up. And look how that played out. Bud gave that man the beating of his lifetime. Damn near retired him from boxing. So sometimes we think something is going to happen because this guy's stronger and hits hard, and it doesn't play out that way. I will say, go back in history and look what happens when the great punchers face the great boxers. That's it. You could Google it, you could YouTube it, and see for yourself. What happened when Sugar Ray Leonard went up against Marvin Hagler? Who won, the boxer or the puncher? The boxer. What happened when Evander Holyfield went up against Mike Tyson? Who won, the boxer or the puncher? The boxer. We can go all day about how the great undefeated puncher went up against the great undefeated boxer, and the boxer got him. That happens a lot. So the notion that Tank Davis is just gonna watch Shakur and smoke him, and yeah, you can forget about that, man. It's not gonna go down like that, my guy. I promise you that. You'll be able to revisit this video and be like, damn, Jay told me it wasn't gonna play out like this. Spence will run it back. Look, man, to be honest, Errol Spence, him running it back with Bud is going to hinge on what happens with Fundora next. He got to get past Fundora. Now, if he beats Fundora, there's a possibility, a slight possibility, that him and Crawford could rematch. If Crawford can't get the Canelo fight, maybe he'll give him a rematch. But he has to win. If he loses to Fundora later this year, he'll never get a rematch with Bud Crawford. You can take that to the bank. If he loses, it's a wrap. Because remember, Crawford has 1 or 2 fights left in his career. He's about to retire, my guy. So he's not going to stick around long enough for Spencer to lose to Fundora, redeem himself, to then try to fight. That's it. If you lose to Fundora, you will never get a rematch with Terence Crawford. I promise you that. Mike needed to be on point to win. His height worked against him. Listen. If you think about it, Mike Tyson struggled versus real tall opponents. Like, I'll give you an example. Look at his first loss. James Buster Douglas. Buster Douglas was mad tall and was pummeling him from the outside. Matter of fact, when he dropped him with that 1-2, it was at that long range. Boom, he came in with that 1-2. Then, look at what happened with Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis, a lot taller than him, pummeled him. Evander Holyfield, taller than him, beat him up. But obviously, most of his opponents was taller than him. But let me show you an example. If you look at even guys he beat while he was still undefeated, right? The guys that gave him problems were the taller guys. Those were the ones that made him, go hard, that took him the distance. Were the guys that were really tall. Not the guy that's, 6'1", 6 flat. No, the guys that was 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", gave him problems. That reach, that length, gave Mike problems. So his height, but a lot of times, his height worked in his favor. Going on the punches and getting on the inside, it worked in his favor. So, I believe Mike Tyson's height worked for and against him at times. What's up, Timmy Jones? What's the deal, my guy? You already know what it is, man. We talking boxing out here. Box Center, my boy. If you enjoy boxing, subscribe, and I promise you, the best boxing content is right here. I'm him, I promise you. But check it, man. Let me know what y'all think. Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson, who wins that fight? And how do you think it happens? Because, some people see it as a competitive fight. My boy says that Tank is going to embarrass Shakur. And, I don't think he's going to embarrass him. I don't think anybody embarrasses Shakur. And I don't think anybody embarrasses Tank either. Therefore, by my logic, it has to be a competitive fight where, both guys are going to have their moments. Both guys are going to win rounds. And it's going to come down to who's the better fighter. It's really going to come down to that. And I already, made my pick. I already made it clear who I feel is going to win that fight. And I'm interested in seeing how people perceive that fight, because, the people that are in Tank's side of that fight, they feel like Tank is absolutely going to wash Shakur, or that he's going to knock him out. He's going to embarrass him. But I don't understand why would you feel. Oops. I don't understand why would you feel that way. Because, yo, nobody has ever even tested Shakur Stevenson. If nobody's ever even tested him, you've never seen him hurt. You never seen him looking like he's about to lose. You never seen anything that would suggest anybody was putting pressure on him. So why would you think Tank Davis is just gonna, make it look easy or embarrass him? That really doesn't make sense to me. But anyways, my peoples, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Box Center, your favorite boxers, favorite boxing show. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace.